As we're heading into the twilight of this campaign, I can't thank you all enough in Toronto St. Paul's for opening your doors to me. I've heard thousands of stories, talked to so many people, and been inspired by all of you as I work to become your next representative at Queen's Park.
Welcome back. You're listening live to Deval Morrison on 640 Toronto. It's currently minus 14 and it's warming up. It's going to be a balmy minus 7 later on this afternoon. So stay warm out there. The recent Ontario election might not have changed much overall, but for some ridings, like mine, because I live in Toronto St. Paul's, there has been a significant shift. And one of those changes comes with the election of Stephanie Smyth. She's the newly elected Liberal MPP. St. Paul's went from NDP to Liberal, which is very exciting. And she's been a well-known figure in journalism and broadcasting. Smyth is now stepping into the political arena at a very pivotal time. So what does this victory mean? Joining me now is Stephanie Smyth. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? And congratulations.
Hey. Good morning, and thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So tell us, what has this transition been like for you to go from journalism to politics? How has it been so far?
It's fascinating, right? Because as a journalist, I watched for 35 years, everybody in government, right? And doing all the interviews with the politicians from premiers to presidents I didn't interview a president of the United States. I have to correct that. But, premiers to mayors to MPPs myself. So, and holding them to account, watching all the machinations of various governments, and then moving into the arena is so fascinating because you get that firsthand look at A, the motivation for the people who go into politics, and B, how important it is for the people of the riding, right? And that's what it's all about. And I've been so warmed by watching the people who are in the political arena, how much they care and are dedicated to the people that they represent. And you just mentioned you live in Toronto St. Paul's, which is amazing. Yeah, so it's like it meant so much to me that I've been chosen as the representative of the people of St. Paul's, and I got in the quick election, listening to all the stories and concerns, right? So it's just it warms my heart that everybody's so dedicated to representation.
That's great. Now, for those who don't know, can you just explain maybe the rough boundaries of the Toronto St. Paul's riding in Toronto?
Sure. So it's essentially from Eglinton to the north, the south side of Eglinton, and then to the east, it's about Mount Pleasant. And then it goes down to DuPont and across over to Dufferin with some jags in there, right? So it's about 116,000 people.
Wow. Okay. So it's a lot of people. So what made you decide to run for election and how did this come about?
Well, as I said, I've been in journalism and I left CB24 after about 16 years and started my own consulting company. And then in that time, I decided to volunteer on some campaigns and to, just watch the process because I was always so interested in it. And, I also watched what was going on in the province and I became more and more concerned about what was happening, right? The struggles with our healthcare, affordability, these issues that are just so concerning. And I got the opportunity to run in Toronto St. Paul's. I was approached and I thought this would be the greatest time to try to make an impact and represent that riding and the people and the concerns. And I thought, you know what, it's a snap election. Let's go for it.
Right.
I thought, who knows what might happen, but either way, I knew that I'd get to, learn more about how people are being impacted. And interviews essentially thousands of people at the door, right?
Right.
And it was just an opportunity to help and to serve.
And so how did you, because the riding it was Jill Andrews, she was the NDP person in that riding. I guess what was your strategy or how did you essentially, win and unseat her?
Well, my top priority was to get out there and listen to people, right? From day one, that was the campaign, really listening to people's concerns. I heard the frustration. They were tired of the government that wasn't addressing affordability, healthcare, housing in a real way. And I heard that they wanted someone there to stand up for them and fight for some real solutions. And so that was the conversation at the door, time after time after time. and the ability to really represent. And I think, NDP had been in opposition for 7.5 years. I think people really felt that things had gotten worse. And they had, like, you look at, rent's gone up 35% for many people in the riding, and 60% of the riding are people who rent. So there were some real issues and I felt that, I think from what I heard from everybody is that just they wanted some new representation that was going to really fight for them and hold the government to account.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense, Stephanie. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks again. That was Stephanie Smyth, the new Liberal MPP for Toronto's St. Paul's riding. Coming up next, did you watch any of the Liberal leadership debates earlier this week, either in English or in French? We're going to be chatting with a National Post columnist who wasn't too impressed with what they saw. So coming up next, they're going to chat about why. It's currently 9:42. It's Deval Morrison live on 640 Toronto. It's -14 and it's going to be -7 later on today. Thanks for listening.
Stocks, bonds,